1:55 a.m. in Sarasota, Florida. We're Uber driving right now. I got to pick up, but I can already see from the map that the person I'm picking up is not at the pickup spot. And it's only a $3 ride, so it ain't much. I was just over here a minute ago, and it's like a gas station, but it's like a really sketchy type of gas station. So let's see exactly what this turns into. Kind of a parking lot at 2 in the morning. Great, like super sketchy. There's nothing out here. Picking somebody up at a parking lot. You gotta be kidding me. We'll see where this person's at. I see somebody just walking on the road over here. I hope it's not this person here, because they're just randomly walking in the middle of the road over here. I hope it's not this person.
Turn right, then pick up.
This is the passenger here. Hey, what's the name? Alright, cool. Good. It's all good.
Using the left lane, turn left on Fruitville Road.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, thank you. No, I'm sorry, I got asthma. I can't smoke. Where are you going to? This is a really crazy spot at night. You sure you want to stay out here at night? Have a nice night. Be careful out there. Make sure you got everything. Holy crap. This is like the homeless strip here. I can't believe this girl's getting out here at night. I almost feel bad for her getting out here at night. Not exactly the type of place you want to be out late at night. Poor girl, man. It's her call. I wouldn't get out here at night for crap. A lot of people here just walking the streets at night. What's up, everybody? So in today's video, I ended up Uber driving at like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. in Sarasota and Bradenton, and I got all of the worst neighborhoods. It's one of those nights where there just aren't enough rides, and the rides that you get are so sketchy. This passenger here was going to South Sarasota, a good area. So late at night, the bars are closed. You got to be careful where you take and what neighborhood. This guy gets in the car, and he had it programmed for South Sarasota. However, as soon as he gets in the car, he changes the direction. Now, the person he's talking to on the outside is so drunk, you can't even understand him. So I'm wondering now, is this guy as drunk as the person he was talking to? So now I'm a little worried. You notice that as soon as he got in the car, I really didn't drive off. Hey man, I'm actually not going like there, man. I'm going somewhere else, bro. I'm like, okay, look, put in the address of where you're going. Now at this moment, I hadn't even seen the address. I just stopped the truck and I said, put in the new address. Now I figured that the reason he did this is because the neighborhood that he was going to is so bad that he knew that no Uber driver would take him to this neighborhood. And that's exactly what he did. Now, I kind of saw the deception coming. The moment he said, hey man, I got the wrong address, I already knew what this was about. Basically, he lives in a neighborhood that is so scary. If he had actually put his real direction, no Uber driver would have even dared to pick him up. It's the absolute most dangerous place in all of Sarasota. a little bit of deception. Now, there could have been more to this passenger. He said I was dropping him off at his house. I don't think he actually lived where I was dropping him off, because where I'm dropping him off is more like a huge hangout spot where people hang out and stuff late at night. So even more sketchy. Of course, since he lied to me about the direction, he deceived me into thinking we were going to South Sarasota. As soon as he got in, he changed the address, and now it's a bad neighborhood. He's already going with deception. Now, as a passenger, you do have the ability to change your direction while being in the car. So at this point, it's a mild deception. But it's not just a mild deception. He knows he's taking me to a really bad neighborhood, and he deceived me into thinking I was going to a good area, but then he took me to a bad area. So there's a level of deception. Now, if you're already being deceptive, what would make me think that his whole story about how he lived in this neighborhood is true? Now, I doubt he actually lives in this neighborhood. And if he does live in this neighborhood, wow, what the crap. Anyways, he told me a story about how he's recovering, and because there was some type of transaction going on between him and the passenger that didn't get on, that was there talking to him or whatever. So I overheard their conversation. So now he gets in and he starts to tell me a story. Oh man, I don't really do that anymore. Like, I know you heard Buddy talking about that, but I don't do that anymore. So this passenger, it's late at night. He's already being deceptive. Now he's trying to tell me that he's a recovering addict, which none of my freaking business. I'm just driving you on a 5-minute Uber ride. He was deceptive. So if you've already deceived me, you can't expect me to keep believing you. Now I know what his deal was, okay? He needed to get to a specific neighborhood that no Uber driver in town was going to take him to, except for me, because I was already conned into it. Because honestly, this isn't the best place in town. It's quite possibly the most crazy little street in town. But he deceived me, bro. He fooled me. He's already in the car. I'm not going to kick him out. I was just going to take him to wherever he was going. I didn't appreciate being deceived, but whatever. It's not a big deal. We had a normal conversation. A conversation which, after you deceive me already, you're already showing me that you're a con artist, so you can't really expect me to believe you. Now, this dude, if you're hearing this video, bro, no hard feelings at all. I'm actually glad. I would rather go to this neighborhood late at night and get some action in for my night. I don't personally mind, but if you use deception, you use deception, and once you deceive somebody, it's hard for them to trust you again. Now, late at night, you get a lot of these rides. There's like 3 or 4 points throughout the city where you're always getting rides, because a lot of people hang out in these neighborhoods late at night. Question mark, we already kind of understand what time it is and what happens late at night, so there's no need to even get into that. But at the end of the day, these are hangout spots, and unfortunately, my first drop-off was dropping this girl off in this completely scary homeless camp, which there's like 50 people that sleep there on the sidewalk. This young girl, dropping her off there, kind of left me like, wow, bro, like I'm actually participating in bringing this person here. I would not want to bring a young girl to this spot, but she told me she was good. Like, this is my hood, dog. Like, okay, it's your hood. Anyway, so here I am again with the second passenger of the night, and they're also going to an absolute hood, dog. So the first person we dropped off was off of Central. That's the homeless camp right outside of north side of downtown. And now we're heading kind of towards Newton, and I can already kind of figure out the reason why this dude didn't want to put his address up in here. If you see where I'm at, you already know what time it is. You know where I'm at. We're pulling in the MOK. Now, every single passenger that you bring here, bro, you already know what time it is. But they always try to make up a story to try to explain to the Uber driver, oh, I live here, or my aunt lives here, or, always some weird story that never checks out, dude. Like, if I cared about you visiting your aunt. Anyways, it would literally be less suspicious if the person said nothing about where they're going to, but the fact that they always have to make up a story about why they're going here just makes it even more obvious. I'm an Uber driver. I understand I'm taking you to the hood. I absolutely give no craps what you're doing. Get in, get out, keep it moving. But again, this is the second time tonight, the second passenger, and we end up in another kind of hangout / homeless, I don't even know what to call these areas, just big neighborhood of hangout spots or large homeless encampments by the sidewalks. It's just really bad neighborhoods, And I'm thinking, wow, could my night get any worse? Yes, it could. Because I picked up one passenger and I accepted the next ride without looking at where it was. I just saw that it was in the vicinity, and we're going to Bradenton. Great. Perfect. Now, it's just peep where I'm picking up this homie at. We're in North Washington, or no, actually, this is US 41, my bad. We're in US 41, and we're just, again, picking somebody up in a random parking lot. Interestingly enough, there's a police officer parked right where this guy gets in the car. So this guy was actually pretty cool. Now, he was completely drunk, and that's perfectly fine because that's why you're using an Uber. We had a great conversation. I can't tell you what he does for a living, but it's very similar to what I do with Uber in some way or another. And he was explaining to me how horrible the people in Bradenton are for his business and how he avoids doing business with people in Bradenton because of how horrible they are. I'm like, yeah, you think so? Me too. Hey, by the way, I'm taking you to Bradenton. But he was cool. He really was. Now, the spot where I picked him up was definitely sketchy, but we move forward. We're having a good conversation. The guy was legitimately cool, and interestingly, I think the information that I got from him was valuable, and the information he got from me was valuable because, you know, just mutual things in common and stuff like that. Good conversation. This guy was drunk, but he was able to carry on an intellectual conversation. And one of the reasons that I Uber drive is just to meet people, and I think drunk people are great people to meet as long as they're still coherent enough to have a conversation. So we take this guy to Bradenton, and then we take a ride from Bradenton back into Sarasota. This second passenger after him was pretty cool. He was a young kid, maybe Asian, I believe. I love talking to Asian people because they're always talking about business. And, you know, they're very smart people in the business, you know, whatever. We have a good conversation, and he actually tipped me very well. So it was a very good evening. There was kind of a language barrier. I guess he had just recently started learning English, but we got through the language barrier. We just forced the conversation somehow. We figured it out. We talked, and it was pretty good. Not a bad night. Just because you're taking somebody to a sketchy neighborhood doesn't mean they're a horrible person. A lot of times people in poor neighborhoods have to get to work or whatever they're doing late at night. They have to get it done. And as long as they are well behaved, I don't mind. See, on this evening, we had people that were drunk, possibly even more than drunk, and people that were going to bad neighborhoods, and who knows what the crap they're actually doing. The good thing was that they were well behaved. And that's all that I ask of my Uber passengers. So I understand you're up late at night doing sketchy stuff. Don't care. Going into scary neighborhoods, absolutely don't care. Do care that you behave. And despite the fact that most of these people were either very high or very drunk and doing some sketchy crap, they were well behaved. And that is a good night Uber driving. It's the ones that don't behave and that get really finessey that are really a problem. I kind of understand that this person was going to a neighborhood that was kind of sketchy, and if he didn't deceive me, he would have never got there. He would have been walking through these areas at night. There's no way he would have got there. I kind of almost feel sympathy for him having to be deceptive. I did slow down right here because late at night you see a lot of intersection accidents. So whether it's a police officer or a civilian, even if I have the green light, I slow down because I see so many accidents late at night where somebody blows a red light. Almost every single night I see an accident where somebody blows a red light. So even if I have a green light, you'll see that I slow down when I approach the intersections. This was one of those nights where the rides were few, far between, but luckily enough people tipped me throughout the night to where it made it worthwhile. It wasn't a great night out, but you know, if I can make 50 or 60 bucks, that fills up the gas tank for the next day's road trips, and that's kind of what Uber is. In the wintertime, Uber driving is incredible in Sarasota, but I'll tell you, this time of year, when the tourists are gone, it's absolutely brutal. You're literally just doing rides like this from one sketchy spot to the next. Again, as long as they're well behaved, I don't mind. And despite the fact we went into some scary neighborhoods and this and that and a little bit of deception, I'm okay with all that because they were well behaved passengers. Within their abilities of being drunk, they were well behaved. And hey, that's all I really ask of my passengers. Behave.